Well, at this point, I knew basically, even though it was never a desire of mine to start charging money, like I knew that, okay, we officially now have costs. Like, people are not going to continue to do this for free. We have too many people as where we can't just show up at a random venue or the park and do this. We're going to need to pay for this venue. Yeah. We're going to need to start paying for these rappers because they're starting to develop a demand and a value. And me always having eyes that are slightly bigger than my stomach and wanting to really be ambitious as possible, I realized we need to start. I'd be basically, you know what I'm saying, like a straight artard if I wasn't charging money for. So we started, you know, I believe the first event we ever charged money for was Battle of the Bay 3. 10 or 15 bucks to get in, and it barely broke even. You know, we were barely able to pay everybody off. I knew that we had something, and the crazy story is pulling up to that event, and I was in the car. This is still before we were getting hotels for rappers and shit, and I had literally 15 rappers sleeping on my couch at the time. And pulling up to the venue, the Oakland Metro, and seeing a line around the block 4 or 5 hours before the event was going to start, kind of realized, damn, maybe we're onto something. Maybe this is going to be bigger than we realize. The whole time it was growing at such an exponential rate. We were so young, we were so inexperienced. We still never really realized what we had until it was already beyond our control. Beginning of like sometime in the middle of the event, and I look around, I looked over at Avocado, and I was like, bro, like, so this is what we're doing? This is Battle of the Bay now? Like, this is like, I couldn't even conceive of how big it was going to be. And then all these sponsors, different like streetwear clothing, wanted me to wear their shit. Like, I didn't even, like, different, you know, sunglasses companies and like all this stuff. And I never, you know, people that were famous that I looked up to were starting to wanting to come through and thought that I had something crazy. And, you know, I was running into old homies and they were thinking I was rich already, when even though I was still already 15 grand in debt for trying to even make this shit get off the ground. It was a really odd sensation, you know what I mean? It made me feel like, damn, like the love of money is the root of all evil, and the fact of the matter is money's a necessity, period. And like, for me, it was more of a necessity to even have money in the factor, and I realized, like, fuck, this is going to be way bigger than any of us ever conceived, and we're not going to be able to control it anymore. Well, you know, Battle of the Bay 3 already happened, so off top at that point it made sense that we had a sustainable audience in both Los Angeles and the Bay, who are, though, as through the Fresh Coast movement, we're starting to relate and combine the whole scenes. We're doing projects, musical projects together. In fact, I believe we were the first to ever market a compilation project on our videos and use viral videos that Avocado was editing on fucking YouTube to market other projects.
I'm so drunk at the bar, I'm throwing chairs and dump the skunk in the cigar, the smoke's in the air, and I don't give a fuck who you are, I don't care, and you know your girl's in love with a star, so there, bitch. I is Skrilla is I.
It made sense. We had to do a Battle in the Bay every couple months, and we had to do something in LA every couple months. All anybody really wanted was their name and neon lights above their head. So we started putting together Battle of the Bay 4, the same time we were doing Battle of LA 2. That was the first time we charged for money in LA. We had different MCs starting to fly out from, you know, out of city, out of state, out of country, and it started to really take off. Still wasn't really, we weren't making money on a profit level, but we were able to pay for everything. We weren't really tripping, and we were having the time of our lives. Battle of the Bay 4 was an interesting story, because when that was going on, a lot of people don't know, that was the first time a real rapper that had only been on the URL format, which was Arsonal, was coming to battle against a grind time rapper, Okwerdz. It was the first style clash ever. It was the first time that anybody had ever really stepped out of that realm into that one, and it was the first time really an East Coast rapper of that style, you know, because Jay's had already come out, was venturing into this realm. So it was groundbreaking on a lot of levels. What people don't know is I wound up getting arrested the day before the fucking battle, and it almost didn't happen. Literally, I was picking up the homie PH Pumpkinhead from the airport. He was landing in Frisco, so me and the homie Cap are going to pick him up. Mind you, being the scumbag that I am, I don't have a fucking driver's license, you know what I'm saying? I have a QP of weed in the car, and I'm not selling it. I'm not doing it to sell. I'm just using it to smoke out of it. Happened to be a little bit larger than people are used to having. Me and Cap are doing our thing. Because Cap's ass didn't have his fucking seatbelt on, he thought his beard would protect him, I guess. He didn't have his fucking seatbelt on. We wind up getting pulled over. Like, I told him, I was like, yo, pretend that you were driving, but I'm having to take you to the hospital because your appendix is exploding. Cops come, ambulance comes, that costs $1,500. We're like, fuck it, we can't do that. And Cap's like, no, I actually just had to take a shit instead. They ran all my shit. I don't have a driver's license. I didn't have a record at the time, but they still needed to take me in to fingerprint me to put me through the system. I'm like, fuck, this is Friday night. The battle's tomorrow. I might fucking miss out on this event. Like, you know what I mean? This is like, and this is everything I have going for me. At the time, I'm the largest battle promoter in the world. This is, you know what I mean? Like, this could ruin everything. Luckily, I got out in 6 hours. I swear I wasn't crying in my holding cell like a bitch. That's not my steezy. I was crying. No, I wasn't. It was fucking crazy what a slim margin. I almost didn't make it to the battle in. It was funny because I actually was, I'm not going to lie, I was crying. Berkeley fucking jail is like, it doesn't exist anymore, but at the time, it might as well have been Club Med. It was nice as fuck. I wasn't crying because I thought I was going to have to do a weekend in county. I could handle that, right? Even though obviously that would have sucked. I was crying because I thought my battle career was going to be over. I had all this money on the line that I had put up for all these battles. I thought it wasn't going to happen, and I thought I was going to let down the entire world of battle rap. So I was crying softly to myself. As I'm getting released, one of the guards was like, hey, you have a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle shirt on. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you from LA? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what high school you went to? I'm all, uni. He's like, that's why you was crying. I went to Hamilton. You bunch of crybabies. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, but yeah, funny story. But, you know, luckily I got out, hours to spare. PH saw me crying because I had to put my nose ring back in. They make you take out all your jewelry when you get locked up. So putting my ring back in is like, you know, I'm Tupac. I've only had my nose ring out a few times in my life. Putting my nose ring in as I'm crying. PH Battle Diz. It was a crazy event, and thank God I made it out for that.